The Chiefs look to keep their season rolling against the Arizona Cardinals. I got their game plan coming for you right now. Welcome back to RGR Football. We got a lot to talk about as the Chiefs get ready to take on those Arizona Cardinals. And this is a team that there was a lot of trade rumor about, including some guys that we're going to talk about today in linebackers and corners and all kinds of things. Guys that really should be safeties that maybe aren't playing safety right now. But this is a team that the Chiefs had ties to. And they have a couple of guys that have some ties to this team, both physically and figuratively. This is a team that the Chiefs might have a tendency to try to look past. And a lot of folks are worried that they might be taking them for granted or assuming this is a win. And I just want to, go back to that old saying and remind everyone that any given Sunday, anybody can win in this league. And especially if it's somebody that is taken too lightly. So the big challenge, I think, and we're going to talk about this first, is that Andy Reid's job this week is tougher. He's got to keep this team focused, keep them paying attention to the little details that can get them big plays, chunk plays, and eventually the win. I don't end up seeing that they're going to have too much trouble, but it is an exercise in being dedicated to your craft and understanding what you have to do in order to get the win. So, that said, we'll talk about the keys here in a minute, but if you're new around here, I'm Ryan, and this is my channel, Going Rogue, and I appreciate you guys checking it out. If you're new and you like what you're seeing, give me that thumbs up and let me know that you're into it, as well as hit the subscription and the notification, and please leave your comments. We want to have a discussion about all these topics as well, and it's a great following around here. And if you're one of the old hands, I appreciate you guys coming back. You've been great lately. We've grown. We hit the 5,000 mark. I've got a couple ideas about how to do something special for that, but working on a couple of things as well. So I'll hopefully have some more news for that soon. Also a reminder, I'll be live post-game Sunday night, so we'll be on YouTube for that as well. Now, number one, Chiefs have to keep the pedal to the metal, and that includes Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. There are a lot of little wrinkles that they can use, and they need to clean up the finer points. I don't know that they have to do a whole lot of dipsy-do and that kind of stuff, but they have to not get comfortable at any point in this game. This is a game that the defense might have a little bit better day than they've had recently, but the offense has to keep going. This has to be a 30-point plus game for the offense. That's what good teams do. They put nails in coffins and drive out weaker opponents. That's just the way it works. And I think what's different about this season is that Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes running the offense on the field. And the impression that I get from hearing things off the sidelines, folks that talk with him, is that he's got an intensity about him that belies his public demeanor. And I think that the combination of them between the wizardry of Andy Reid and the intensity of Patrick Mahomes, I think this is something that you should see continue. They need to hammer those things home. Now, that's not to say they can't do a few new wrinkles. There's always something you can do. And going into the Rams game down the line, there are two schools of thought. You can either not show them anything and try to hold all your special plays or your new wrinkles for that game, or you can put more on film and make them study even more, especially some things that you might not even use. And along those lines, one guy that wants to get involved pretty badly, although he doesn't want to be a running back, is Chris Jones. Very obvious what he's looking for. In fact, I'll have him tell you in his own words.
It would be great for not only my resume, for his. You can say he throwed it to Chris Jones. I look at that as a win-win situation. So it's just about convincing the coaches to, dial up something to make that happen.
Would they put you in as tight end?
I feel like it's coming soon. I don't want to, lick my chops right now, but I feel like it's coming soon. But tight end, I would consider that. Tight end and quarterback. But running back, no way. I would not put myself in harm like that.
Now, number two, they got to run some fakes. You can't just get too vanilla drop back because there are some aspects of the Arizona defense that play well. They have a guy named Chandler Jones who can still rush the passer very well. So you want to use some play action. You want to set that up to get both him go in one direction and being able to do something else, as well as the guys in the back of the defense. I am specifically going to be paying attention to Chandler Jones. That matchup against the Chiefs tackles is going to be interesting, and I think that's maybe one that he might be a little underestimated across the league. Guy to watch specifically in the pass rush. But also, when you're talking about giving a little misdirection, I want to see counters out of the backfield. I want to see them use some of the split back formations so they can get things going sideways and not necessarily just line up in the single back and let Kareem run for yardage. There are definite spots where they can make some yardage. I think running to the right is probably going to be more effective this week, but we'll see how they approach it. And if they do decide to get a little bit fancy, I'd like to see them do that with the wide receivers. I'd like to see them get back to the 4 wide and use the guys that, especially with Sammy Watkins out, could actually use the reps for further reference down when they get to the postseason, and you might need to pull in some guys or do something crazy with some of the guys that don't get as many reps at the wide receiver position. Look for Chris Conley to have an option here, especially across the middle. I like him better against the safeties than the corners, but we'll see about that as well. Now, when you flip it over, point number 3 is they have to attack in the pass rush, and the tackles are pretty solid. They've been playing well, and I think this is going to be a test for Breeland Speaks in particular to get home, but I think D4's first step will help him. When you look at the Cardinals front, I think the guy that you want to attack the most in the pass game is going to be their right guard, and so I expect to see some rotation. And really, I'd like to see them line some guys up in the A-gaps and then shift out to an outside shoulder and try to get that guard turned. I would like to see some twists, maybe a little bit of a delay linebacker blitz. That's really something that could pay off for them. But long and short, Breeland Speaks has an opportunity here to maybe get moved around the line. Maybe they're going to run some stack with him and D Ford over on that left-hand side of the defense, and I think that's something that may actually pay off for them in the long run. Number 4, they have to set the edge on the defense's right-hand side. This is about Breeland Speaks. They have a lot of success. David Johnson is still maybe not being as successful as he was in years past, but he is still a very successful back, and he runs well off of that left tackle. That seems to be the area that they've gotten the most traction in this season, and I think that's specifically pointed at what Breeland Speaks can do. If you saw the film room from the other day, if not, go back and check that out, but you saw Breeland Speaks is coming around. Especially in the run game, being able to shed some of those blocks. It's going to be very important for him to set that edge and be able to take on the running back. Johnson is a guy that passes or catches passes fairly well as well. So a little bit of that, and you've seen Breeland have to get out and cover in the flat. So I see this as a big game. We've seen some rumor that Justin Houston might be back, but Breeland Speaks is going to be a focus. And when they're on that defense, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm looking to try to attack him, and we need to see how Breeland Speaks can respond. I have a feeling it's going to be on the positive side, but we will see. I hope you guys are enjoying this season, enjoying these videos. I appreciate all of your time and watching them. And I've got a couple of wrinkles still coming for you. I'm working on it, still learning to edit a little bit. But thank you for your time today. Enjoy the game. I'll be live post-game, and I'll talk to you then.